Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show. I'm really passionate about this next subject because my father would feed homeless and hungry in Detroit, Michigan, and this is Father's Day weekend, so he's on my heart this weekend anyway. Let's talk about hunger in North Texas with the Sawler family. Kim and Bob Sawler, along with their kids Dylan, Robert, and Chase, are in the studio. They are with a nonprofit called Food for the Soul. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We got started in 2009 because I was reading in the Bible and it said, feed the hungry and clothe the naked. And I looked at my family and said, we're not doing this. And if we get to heaven and God asks us why, what's our answer going to be? So they all said, okay, let's do it. So we got our 501c3, and the first thing that we did was have a clothing drive because in 2009, a lot of people were losing their jobs and people were going hungry. And they couldn't buy their children clothing if they can't feed them. So we said, let's help. So we got all of our friends and family together, and we got our clothes because we don't wear out our clothes. We just don't like it because it doesn't, And we had the Lions Club in Keller set up like a department store. We had, infants to grown men and shoes and socks and everything. And we all prayed before we got there, and we had all of our friends there. And we had, Bibles to give out to everybody to pray with. And we're going through, and everybody came, and we, just had a sign that said free clothes because we didn't know what to do. We just walked in faith. So at the end of that, this older couple, like my parents' age, came up to me, and I'm sitting at the table. I'm very excited about meeting them. And she took my hands and she goes, honey, do you have any food?
Mm.
And I looked at her and I didn't understand. And she goes, I can clean your house for free. And I went, wow, Lord, I'm not strong enough for this. So that was the first time we saw hunger right here in the Metroplex. That was the first time. And, ever since then, we've been doing food also. So we went to the schools and we said, let's see how many kids are hungry in this community. So we're in Keller, Texas, and you'd think of Keller and you're thinking, we went to the school, the head counselor, and we said, how many kids would need a backpack program? How many kids are on the free and reduced lunch program? I'm thinking 300, like, wow. And back in 2009, he said 6,223.
Mm.
I just couldn't even believe it. So we started feeding hungry children in the backpack program every single weekend since then. And now currently there's 8,000. That's how much it grew since then. So in the Metroplex, in the DISD, we're in there also. We just started, and we're in different Arlington ISD. So we're reaching out.
You know what touches me? You guys have been doing this since 2009, and the emotion is still so close to the surface for you. Let's turn to you, Robert. What's it like to see your mom and dad so emotional?
I really actually love it, being a part of this family, and God's at the center. It's really exciting to see what he does every day. I wake up, and it's like we always start off and we're like, what can we do for him today? And it gets kind of emotional for me sometimes because some of my buddies at school are part of Food for the Soul and our program, and it's before we started this, I didn't realize, hey, they're on it. And then it helps me also get a closer bond with them and talk to them and share my faith. And so I really love seeing my parents and what they do and how they impact our generation in my life.
Chase, let's get you over closer to the mic. I think a lot of people would be surprised that there's hunger in North Texas because this is one of the most affluent communities in the country. Were you surprised?
Yes, sir, very much so. And it sure is amazing to see how many kids from all our schools that we never thought it would be in place, and how they're in need and how we can use our blessings to give back to them in the community.
And Dylan, let's get you in on this. You want to be a preacher one day, don't you?
Absolutely.
Do you feel, does the hunger ministry touch your heart in the same way it does the rest of your family?
Absolutely. It's crazy how this all comes together and how God is just leading and just taking everything and just making his path known. And it's crazy the impact, really. I was visiting my old elementary school just to stop by and say hi to my teachers that first helped me. And the first thing that they said to me wasn't like, oh, hey, where are you going? They're like, I just want to say what Food for the Soul has done for the kids in my class. And it's kind of crazy how my teachers have been impacted as well as their students and seeing how those students grow up and getting an opportunity that they wouldn't have. And it's a place in my heart that I want to continue God's work and just going wherever He leads.
Bob, let's get you in on the conversation. I think one of the things that people forget is that if you're a student and you're hungry, you can't really learn. You can't focus on education if your stomach is growling, right?
Absolutely. And what has really hit me, we're not a third world nation. It's not somewhere that you would not think here in the United States, in Keller, Texas, that there could be hunger like this. Many of the things that we get to see are the children, and like you said, Jeff, it's how do they work through school? So a lot of them are on the free and reduced lunch program, which allows them to eat Monday through Friday. But Friday at lunch to Monday in the morning is about 65 hours. So within that 65 hours, they're looking for food. So I went and fasted for 65 hours. And, I think at first you're okay, I'm hungry on Friday. Saturday, you're really kind of saying, I understand hunger at this point. Sunday morning, I do not want to see another commercial for food. And all I'm thinking about is Monday morning. You don't want to be around me. I'm grumpy. I'm having a hard time with it. Now dial me back to 10 years old. Put me in school. I'm a kid who doesn't want to learn. I'm a kid who doesn't pay attention. I may not be really somebody who could be of anything. When reality is, I'm probably just hungry. So we really took this passion on and said, how do we come make a difference? And a lot of the programs that we work on within our family is to focus on the children and make that happen. So we have a backpack program is what we do to feed the children on weekends.
Kim, you're such a great storyteller. Get up close to the mic again and tell us another story of something that you've witnessed through Food for the Soul.
Wow. There's a lot of what's near and dear to my heart are just the children. Last year, this is going to be hard. A football team was hungry. And the coaches came to a pastor, and the pastor knew about us, and he came to us and said, can you help us feed our athletes? These are varsity football players that are hungry. And we're like, what do you mean? And they only had 3 more games left in the season. So they go, can you bring us peanut butter and jelly? Because the coaches were spending their own money on peanut butter and jelly, and they were just running out of money. And we said, sure, we'll bring everybody peanut butter and jelly and bread. And when everybody went home with peanut butter and jelly and a loaf of bread, and I said to the coach, like nonchalantly, do they have meals before their games? They go, no, they don't have meals even after their games. And when they go home, they're just hungry. So we said, well, let's bring meals to them from now on, from each game, before each game. So we went there, and these are high school boys, big boys that were so polite and so thankful and so happy and just the kindest, sweetest boys in the world. And this is in Oak Cliff and that we went to. And just very, very sweet. And I said after their first game, after we gave them food, did they win? And he goes, no, Miss Kim. He said, but you know what? They were sad they lost the game. Their season was 8-0, but they had hope. And you gave them hope. And I said, what do you mean? Because someone cared. Someone cares about them. Someone cares, and they can see it. And that just blew us away. So,
wow. Let's bring the boys back on the mic here. When I was in high school, I remember that they made us do a community service project. Like it was something that you had to do in order to get credit. But your generation is very other-centered. This is cool, isn't it?
Yes. I love being a part of Food for the Soul. And, I was part of the National Honor Society at my high school. So we were required so many hours to get in to be a part of National Honor Society. And what I thought was very neat is that for me, I didn't look at it as a requirement. I looked at it like it was my service that I was called from the Lord to be a part of it and to really drive it home. So I think our generation, especially in my class, I noticed that a lot of our students and athletes were willing to give back to the community and wanted to make an impact not only for themselves but also for the community to say, hey, we're here to help, we're together. It's not individuals, it's a big team effort.
And I think about loaves and fishes. This has biblical roots, does it not, Dylan?
Absolutely. And we've seen the biblical side and God just showing his abundance of favor. One of the outreaches we went to was back in 2009 at Kirkpatrick Middle School. A family, a teacher and his family came to us asking for food, and we eventually wanted to help out the whole school because the whole school was kind of in this similar circumstance. And we coming into it, we did not have any we're not prepared for the turnout, but it's amazing seeing how our bags were filled with like set meals for a family of 4, and we gave out tokens for all the bags that we planned to have, and we only gave out 500. But then after those tokens came in, we still had more left, so we're like, yeah, send in the rest of the people, because the line was outside of the school, just waiting for food. And it's amazing how God not even provided for everyone that was there, but there was even leftovers after that the school themselves kept for later use.
Wow.
And
That's
crazy.
so inspiring. Mom and Dad, do you see Food for the Soul being a nationwide organization at some point? Right now, it's just North Texas. Is that right?
Well, we actually have a branch in California. We are very duplicatable. We have a national grocer, and we're here to help anywhere in the United States.
If somebody is listening to this and is touched by your ministry, how can they get involved? What do you need most?
Prayers, prayers for multiplication. That would be fabulous. They can volunteer. They could, the more money we get, the more people we can feed. So every dollar counts, every penny counts. Any amount helps. So they could go to our website and at foodforthesoul.org and find out a lot of information about us and how to give there.
Bob, I'll let you have the final word. What thought would you like to leave my audience with?
Well, we do want to say thank you. And really, again, we're not some third world nation. It's here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and you can make a difference. We're a family from Keller that came in and stepped up, and we could really use that help. We can't do it without help. There's such a big need. To date, our family has now provided over 800,000 meals, 200,000 pieces of clothing, and we started with 1. So what we could do is we could ask for everybody to come to our website, look at what we're doing. If you feel led, if God leads you down that path, please call us. Please visit us. Any amount matters. If you can step in a little way, that's great. If you can step in a big way, that would be awesome too.
Foodforthesoul.org.
Foodforthesoul.org.
Thank you, Sawler family, for being so inspirational on a Saturday morning. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
When we come back, the Rotary has been around for more than a century in this country. How this amazing service organization is staying current for the next generation, just ahead.